Public Bank. Spectrum wants to hear your views. You can SMS at any time during the show. Type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
A very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, government bans the A4C group, outlawing its activities. Why has government taken this step? And what steps are the activists going to take over this matter? Yesterday, government fulfilled its earlier warning to ban the Activists for Change, or A4C, the pressure group, through a statutory instrument that criminalized all their activities. The Attorney General invoked Section 56, subsection 2, Section C of the Penal Code, and declared the A4C an unlawful society, saying its activities were dangerous to peace and order in Uganda. This instrument indicates that all membership to A4C is now banned, and if they try to form any other group, it will also be deemed unlawful. A month ago, Prime Minister Edmond told Parliament that the organization is illegal, that is A4C, and that if it wanted to participate in national politics, its members should have it registered as a political party. The activists have instead issued a rallying call to their supporters, vowing to push on with A4C's activities, saying they cannot be deterred by a government they claim is using oppressive colonial laws to frustrate the opposition. Religious leaders issuing Easter messages and political pundits are asking both government and the opposition to think about the peace of the country and avoid any confrontation. They argue that Uganda belongs to many people, and not only the political actors, and they stress that any bloodshed would be blamed directly on these key players. Now, the opposition has insisted that activism will continue until the political questions of Uganda are answered, but government has indicated that the opposition is attempting to cause regime change using unconstitutional means. So tonight on Spectrum we'll ask, what explanation is the AG's office giving to back the ban it has issued? What are the activists saying about the ban issued by government on their activities and reports that they want to cause regime change? We'll also ask if the opposition is willing to listen to the clarion call of religious leaders and some other Ugandans to cancel their activities. Our guests tonight, retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza, Besigye, President of the FDC Party. Most welcome, retired Colonel.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all the Spectrum listeners.
We're also joined by Mr. Denis Bireje, Commissioner for Civil Litigation in the Attorney General's Chambers. You're most welcome, Mr. Bireje.
Thank you very much, and good evening, all the listeners on this Spectrum.
Dr. Besigye, could you give us an update on what happened in Kololo today? You were scheduled to have a rally at Kololo airstrip cleared by the police. What happened?
Well, actually, it was not a rally as such. It was a function intended to mark the International Day Against Police Brutality. This is a day marked worldwide in recognition of the problems caused by police forces around the world who abuse their offices and violate people's rights by acting brutally against citizens. And it was recognized that on this day, a torch should be shone on the activities of police forces, those who are engaged in brutality, to be exposed and to be condemned and to be used generally as a day for sensitizing the peoples of the world, and especially the police forces, against brutality, which is torture, using torture of citizens. And so this day is marked worldwide on the 15th of March. But
15th of March, but today is another day.
Yes, today it was not marked then, and this has been mainly due to really logistical problems. As you know, we had actually intended to have it on Tuesday, but even that was postponed today. So the day was majorly intended to, have a discussion, an exposure of what the police conduct has been in Uganda and maybe even in other countries. And of course it will be common knowledge that the police in Uganda has not only in the recent years, but in the entire 50 years of our history, excelled at different times in meeting brutality against the citizens of this country. And certainly lately, they have distinguished themselves in that ignoble role. And so today we were showing the actual cases of brutality in pictures that have been taken recently, in tapes to show the movies or videotapes of what exactly the police has been doing, brutalizing citizens that pay taxes to that sustain them. And so the main idea was to indeed show this to the public, condemn it, and make appeals to the police force to act better, to actually service their constitutional obligation and become a part, be on the side of the people of Uganda rather than being on the side of a regime that may be against the people of Uganda. And so this was the main function that we have been at today. And of course, it was not an easy function to go to, because indeed, since yesterday, there has been a lot of intimidation to the public. Apart from the screaming headlines today, A4C has been banned, and anybody who participates in its activities will be committing an offense, and the police spokespersons being all over the place saying, the function is not allowed, and then others on different times saying, no, you can go. And so there was a lot of misinformation to the public that we are not allowed to go to Kololo, that in any case A4C has been banned and anybody who is associated with it is illegal. Apart from that, there were actual physical difficulties. The whole of Kololo Hill has been under siege since morning. And even now, coming back from Kololo, it has taken me more than an hour to ride across the valley and come to town because of the traffic. There is a chaotic situation out there because of blocking the roads all around Kololo. And all these roads were blocked so that people could be stopped from actually accessing the place. They gave instructions, no border was to get there. The people should go one by one. Those were instructions of the IG, Inspector General of Police, that each one must go alone.
Not vehicles.
And not in any group, not even two. You should go as an individual one.
Yes.
And what was happening was that at the various entry points where people could have accessed Kololo, they were simply being sent away, including some of our leaders who indeed experienced that kind of
but you managed to get into the Kololo grounds. So.
Oh yes, and only those people that we went with.
How many of
our own group? Maybe 100 or so.
And what happened to the others?
They were blocked. This is what I'm telling you. So we had the whole of Kololo to ourselves, and the whole place was blocked. It is still blocked as we came. It was still blocked.
All right.
And that's why there is a chaotic traffic congestion.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for giving us that colorful update of what happened in Kololo today. Mr. Bireje, what informed the decision to ban A4C?
Well, let me first start by telling Ugandans the powers of the Attorney General in doing what he did. Now, we have a penal code in Uganda, which is one of the laws that we use in this country. Now, this law, under Section 56, empowers the Attorney General to prescribe an organization or a group that is found to be disturbing the peace and order of Ugandans. Now, there are other reasons, or there are other instances when such an action can be taken, and one of them is where a group or individuals want to levy war against the country or encouraging it. That's one area. Secondly, where it is for purposes of killing or injuring or inciting the killing of any person. 3, or whether it is destroying or injuring or inciting the destruction of any property, or committing or inciting acts of violence or intimidation. And also where there is disturbing or inciting to disturb or disturbance of peace and order in any part of Uganda. And the same law empowers the minister, if he finds out that any group or any persons intend or they are in the process of destabilizing the country, that law which I have cited gives him the power to prescribe that group.
To proscribe it, that is to ban it.
Yes.
All right, so you banned the A4C. How?
Now,
yes.
The Attorney General, finding that A4C or the group of A4C was destabilizing the peace and order of the country, it was incumbent on him to take action. And yesterday he took action by prescribing that organization.
Proscribing it, banning it.
Yes, banning it. And he issued a statutory instrument which was gazetted, and is now it has become law. So anybody going against that law will be dealt with according to the laws of the country.
Accordingly, like they say. Will it be effective?
Yes. We have got, the government has got machinery to effect those who breach the law.
How will you enforce it?
There are many ways. One, if you don't obey the law, you will be arrested and prosecuted. Simple.
Do you have precedents to this? Has it happened before?
We have got some cases where organizations have been prescribed.
Okay, we'll talk about those in
now.
In a little bit of while. Let's get some additional information on this side. Dr. Besigye, well, listeners, I need to remind you, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. The government bans the A4C group, outlawing its activities. Why has the government taken this step, and what steps are the A4C or the activists taking over this matter? Our guests are retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, President of the FDC party, and Mr. Denis Bireje, Commissioner for Civil Litigation at the Attorney General's Chambers. You two will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. Dr. Besigye, you are retiring from your political party to do activism. Now these people are rendering you jobless. They've banned the party where you're going to work from.
Well, of course, they cannot ban activism. In fact, I think if anybody was in doubt about the fact that the NRM regime has no remedy to people's disgust and expression of that disgust, it is this banning effect. I think the NRM regime is putting itself in the record books of our country as resurrecting colonialism in Uganda. These same laws my friend here is reading were laws enacted in the colonial times. In fact, let me borrow your book and read for the listeners the whole law that he's describing, which is section 56,
subsection 2.
56B says, if prior to the 1st of October 1959 it was declared by an order of the governor in council to be a society dangerous to the good government of Uganda. So the societies that were proscribed by the governor, the colonial governor, are proscribed by the law he is quoting. The societies that the governor proscribed are this Attorney General of 2012 is adding onto that list. This is exactly what we are talking about. So this is a law that was enacted by the colonial government against the citizens of Uganda. It was intended to contain citizens of Uganda that were striving for freedom, for independence. That was the purpose of this law, enacted under the colonial regime. As you can see, it still gives power to the governor.
1959.
The governor, before 1959, this law was enacted in 1959, but it is saying even what was prescribed before 1959 by the governors who were there will be regarded as prescribed by this law. So Mr. Nyombe Tembo, Mr. Museveni are now companions of the governor, colonial governor. They treat Ugandans as subjects, not as citizens with rights, who should, and themselves as servants of Ugandans. They still view themselves as colonial masters, who should prescribe what Ugandans can do, who can associate with the other, and so on and so forth. And of course, you know, it's a shame that even then these laws are still on our books, because the reason we pay a group of people called the Uganda Law Reform Commission. That Reform Commission is supposed to clean the law books of these obnoxious provisions that now sit in complete contrast to the Constitution of 1995. The Law Reform Commission has a duty to bring all the laws into conformity with the Constitution of 1995, and these provisions are definitely unconstitutional. And we hope sooner rather than later the Constitutional Court will help us, since the Law Reform Commission is not doing its job, to also remove them, like they have removed those of sedition and all these other nonsensical things. So this is what the Attorney General, what the Cabinet of Uganda, which sat to decide, this is what they are resorting to. It's a shame, it's really a pity that in 2012, a regime that came into power after, you know, a war that caused 500,000 people dead because of freedom, that it should be the same regime 26 years later resorting to these colonial provisions to curtail the freedoms of the citizens.
Okay, Mr. Bireje, can you give us some precedents? You can give us some precedents.
Let me first react to what the Kano is saying.
Yes.
I don't agree with the Kano. The reason is that that provision which he has told you,
yes,
it is not saying that the President of Uganda and the Attorney General are subject to the governor. What it says is that the governor then listed out organizations that were dangerous.
And what he listed is still dangerous.
Wait. He listed out organizations that were dangerous to the country. So these organizations, they are still dangerous to the country. So what has happened is that we have added on to the list. Wait. You see, if an organization is dangerous to the country, and another organization later on also becomes dangerous, the list goes on. You cannot remove the other ones which have not ceased to be dangerous to the country. So I don't agree with him when he says that this law is not applicable because it was enacted at that time. No, this law has been subjected to a lot of amendments, and it is still good law.
It still mentions 1959.
Well, and the governor in council. You see what let's talk about that. You see what I was challenging are two things. One is that the law itself was enacted by colonialists for the subjects who were colonized then. He does not dispute that.
Yes.
So, and the organizations the colonialists proscribed, because they were disturbing their power then, are still proscribed.
No.
Yes.
They were disturbing.
Yes.
They were disturbing the good governance of Uganda.
Of the colonial government.
No. Of Uganda.
Yes, Uganda at the time. It was still Uganda.
Yes.
It's still Uganda.
Yes.
Of the colonial regime. So that is one. That is one. That the fact that this law does not recognize that there has been a change from citizens being subjects to citizens being masters.
All right.
That is one. But secondly, I was saying that these provisions cannot pass the test of the Articles 29 of the Constitution,
which guarantees freedom.
Which guarantees freedom of association and so on very clearly.
Okay.
You cannot just whimsically,
okay,
because you are a minister, you wake up or you dream, and you wake up and whimsically you say, I have now proscribed this.
All right, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. But before we go for the break, Mr. Bireje, give us some precedence to this. When was the last time it happened?
What?
Well, proscribing an organization like the A4C, banning it.
The organization, I remember, I've said it is the organization of Bunyoro, Itambiro, and that one was, I think, in 1998 or 1999.
It was banned in 1999.
No. It was banned, I think, around 1990.
It was banned in 1990, about 22 years ago.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
What happened after that was that later on the president made an investigation and decided to unban it.
And what kind of group was this? What were they?
This was supposedly, it was a cult group, a religious cult group, which the president had received information that they were stopping people from going to hospitals.
Right.
And that they would cure the people.
By wave of the hand. Right?
Yes. And so many people were dying in their hands.
And going to heaven.
Which was very dangerous.
They were going to heaven.
Exactly. And what the president did, he said, no, this is a very dangerous group.
And banned it. Then later
on, after the thorough investigations, meeting the religious leaders, meeting the local people, the president was satisfied that it is no longer a dangerous group, and he decided to unban it.
Can you imagine that it is
okay, so the last time they banned was about 20 years ago. It was a religious group that wanted to take people to heaven using a shortcut. Well, this is Spectrum listeners on radio. Now, going for a break. We'll be back to stay tuned. When we come back, we'll look at the way forward. What could happen? People are saying, let's have peace, let's have calm. Will the A4C or the FDC and the other activists heed to this call? Do stay tuned.
Special fares to the US, London, China, and India, with extra baggage allowance on selected flights. To book your flight, contact your local travel agent or call us on 041-7800-900 or book online at qatarairways.com/UG. Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Terms and conditions apply. When Junior lost his appetite, his mother tried all methods to get him to eat. She tried scary stories.
Eat, Tommy, eat, or the big black elephant will come and eat all your food.
She tried magic.
Tommy, if you eat your food, I will turn this handkerchief into sweets. Look, bumble, bumble, boom, boom.
Then she discovered Apetol multivitamin syrup with lysine.
Mommy, I finished all the food. I am number 1.
Apetol multivitamin with lysine is helping mothers to turn mealtime frustration to a fun moment. Apetol has a great taste and contains lysine, which quickly improves your child's appetite and supports healthy growth. Apetol, health for life.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also help friends seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special.
You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight, government bans the A4C group, outlawing its activities, its activities. Why has government taken this step, and what steps are the activists taking over this matter? Our guests tonight, retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, President of the FDC party, and Mr. Denis Bireje, Commissioner for Civil Litigation in the Attorney General's chambers. You will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. Mr. Bireje, what happens in the days, weeks ahead of banning an organization like this? Very briefly.
Briefly, the people who have been banned should respect the law.
Now, what happens just before it happens? What steps do you go through? Is it someone dreams or what? What happens?
No. There's a procedure. We make investigations, and these investigations have taken long. And when we get satisfied that this organization or this group of people are dangerous to the peace and order of the country.
Sorry, who gets satisfied?
The government.
Yes, go on.
Who in the government?
The government. The government is a big organization.
Yes.
The government.
When you are satisfied, it's all right. When you are satisfied, then you
satisfied,
you advise the Attorney General.
Me as a lawyer in the Attorney General's office, I advise the Attorney General, and after that, then the Attorney General takes a decision, because the law is the power is within him to take that decision.
Dr.
And that's what he did.
The last time a ban was issued, you were in government. You were in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. What part did you play?
No, never.
Where were you?
I wasn't. I wasn't. But
he was.
No, I wasn't.
93. No, you were in government.
I think you are a National Political Council or something.
No, I was in government from 1986 to 1990.
Yes.
And that is all. Now, let me first say this, that apart from the shameful way that the government is, the most disgraceful way that our government has resorted to the colonial laws. But let me say that these laws and the work of the minister is absolutely redundant. It has absolutely no effect, because the A4C has no membership.
Go on.
There is, it's not an organization that has, it's not like a political party that it has members.
But you have banners.
It has an executive, yes. And all it says.
But you have planners.
All it says is that.
And organizers.
Yes. All it says.
What do you call those?
There are none. I mean, you tell me whether there is any executive.
Go on, sir.
There is only one person that maybe that is identifiable with A4C, who is a coordinator. And the reason that it is like that is not because it's intended to be simply a nebulous kind of thing. The reason is that any person, including yourself, who would like to see change in this country and is willing to take any action, any activity for that purpose, is an activist for change. Whether he is in the demonstration or not, wherever he is, he's an activist for change. So an activist for change is not like a club that, we are here, we are activists.
Right.
Maybe there are even A4C members in the government who also who want change, and maybe who are engaging in activism there. So it's like banning an idea.
Yes.
A4C is simply an idea of people who want change. You cannot ban an idea. Now, the other day, in fact, when there was this unfortunate incident in which a police officer died, I heard some people saying that was an A4C activity, which it was not, obviously.
What was it?
It was the mayor of Kampala.
Accompanied
by political leaders of Kampala, inspecting his city. Now, so the mayor, will he now be banned from touring his city?
Okay.
Because he is an activist for change. The members of parliament, Honorable Nabila is the member of parliament for Kampala.
Right.
Is she going to be banned?
Okay.
Will anybody stop me from coming from my village into town? The other day we were parked in a parking lot, not talking to anybody. I was just reading my newspapers in a parking lot that I paid for. I had a sticker of my parking lot, and the police say your being here is creating a problem. Now, is that activist for change? So does it mean I will now not be allowed to sit anywhere in the city because they have banned activism for change? Nothing. So what the minister is doing is just like writing on water with your pen. In any case, if he has banned activists for change, does it stop yourself tomorrow starting action for change? Will that also be banned if you start it? Action for change. If the other one starts Arise for Change, will it also be banned? Can they ban any kind? Then the minister must give up all his duties, and every day together with his commissioner here, the commissioner will have to be writing advice to him every morning. Now you ban this one, then the minister will write a banning order and address a press conference. Now I have banned this one. Now I have banned this one. Now I have because you cannot say that anywhere you see me, if I'm in church, that because you banned activists for change and you think Besigye was an activist for change, if he's in a church, then that church must be conducting. And by the way, just to give my friend the reason why it never works. The colonialists, by the way, the organization they were trying to ban were independence movements.
Yes.
For which this law was made. Independence came.
Okay.
The colonialists failed. ANC in South Africa was banned the same way, using the same kind of laws. ANC is in government. The people who banned it are there under the ANC government. Recently, the Tunisians had banned the party, which is now the leading party in government. It was banned by Ben Ali. Yes, it's now Mubarak had banned the Islamist party
Brotherhood.
Now it is the one in government. So banning never works. Tembo and his friends and Mr. Museveni and so on. What is he called?
Peter Nyombi.
Nyombi, sorry. And his the honorable Attorney General Nyombi and his friends are just wasting time.
All right.
But what we are dealing with, and this is what I've been telling the police, that the problem here is a political problem. You cannot solve it with the police. You cannot solve it with these proscriptions. It cannot be solved politically. And that is what you're asking. What can we do to solve this problem? The only way to do it, if the regime wants to leave a good legacy for this country, they should invite everybody to a table. We sit down and agree on how to resolve these problems, how to end the dictatorship.
But you put very difficult conditions. You say the government must step down. There must be government of national. Hold it for a moment. We'll come to you. You've put difficult conditions, saying the government must step aside.
No, nobody has put those. We only expressed 4 conditions.
Yes, you said a government of national unity or something.
No. Condition number 1 was that we need to agree beforehand which parties to be sit on the table.
1, 2.
2, that we need to agree on the agenda, and that the agenda should include the rigged elections.
3,
that we should agree on a neutral mediator who will conduct the dialogue.
Number
4, that we should agree beforehand on guarantees for implementing whatever is decided.
That sounds much.
Those were the only 4 conditions given by all the parties in Uganda.
That sounds much more conciliatory.
I want to react.
It's not.
I want to react.
No, it's not. I mean, it's
well, I think that's not because they said that.
No, this is a written position that was given to government by the Interreligious Council.
So very briefly, I will come to you, Mr.
Let me react to what the Colonel was saying. The Colonel will be deceiving this country when he says A4C has no membership.
It doesn't.
1, A4C has been having planners, people who plan for the activities.
Who are they?
Go on.
FOC has been having organizers of their rallies and demonstrations.
Well, they organize press conferences. After that, we don't see much of them.
They organize rallies, demonstrations.
Who are they?
FOC has been having banners. I've even seen T-shirts of FOC. You cannot say that those people who are organizing, they are not members. They are members. You will be deceiving this country if you hide and say FOC has no membership. No, nobody will believe you. Secondly, when you say that the ban has no effect, the ban has effect. One, if you get involved in the activities of FOC, now that the law is in force, we shall arrest you and prosecute you.
Like if someone is wearing a t-shirt, they should set them on.
But has that stopped?
Wait,
you'll be arrested and prosecuted.
Yes.
And the law provides for punishment of that act.
What's the punishment there?
But even without the banning, is there a day who have not been in court prosecuted for nothing?
You have been in court and you are being prosecuted.
Yes.
Yes.
So what will be the difference?
Every
day they take you to court.
So what do you plan to do? How do you plan to go about it? Now you don't have an umbrella. What are you going to do?
Well, and there's something which I also wanted to explain. He says that today it is FOC and tomorrow it will be different. The law is very clear that if you set up another organization, if you set up another organization by the same people, that one will also be unlawful.
So if they plan anything else,
the law will catch up with you.
Just be new faces at press conference.
Let me read you this provision.
People have never seen in the past.
Let me read you this provision.
I'm familiar with the provision.
Under section 56(3), a society formed to replace the former society is also unlawful.
What is if it is to replace?
So the moment you change under the disguise that you have changed from FOC, it will be unlawful and the law will catch up with you.
So you'll be watching the faces, but if the faces are not there, the name, if it's close to that,
the law will catch up with you.
This is Spectrum Radio 1. You can call in now. Our number is 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0312-261-390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello? 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 You're live on Spectrum. Your name? Okay. Spectrum, hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, your name?
This is Dickens.
Yes, Dickens.
Good evening, Colonel Besigye.
Good evening, sir.
And good evening, Mr. Bireje.
Good evening.
Mine is a question to Colonel Besigye. Colonel Besigye, you are encouraging the public to beat the security. You are encouraging the public to attack the security. Now I want to assume that you are the president tomorrow of this country. Dickens, who does not support you, organizes the same. Would you let it go like how you want the government to let it go? Letting the public to attack people's properties. You are inciting the public to kill the police. Now tomorrow let's say you want to be the president. I'm also doing the same. Will you allow it to happen?
Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
Good evening.
Good evening, your name?
My name is Owere.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank the gentleman in the studio, but I have one message for Colonel Kiiza Besigye. Colonel, this country has taken off economically. You who wants to leave this country, please, I'm begging you, let this country progress. We now need creation of jobs. Please, abandon what you are doing. People are dying for nothing. Good night.
Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
To me, the Max.
Yes, Max.
You see, during the Roman Empire, the soldiers of Rome banned the activities of Jesus Christ. Why? Because in some way or another, he was a pressure group also fighting fighting for Christianity. But in the same way, I see the Attorney General trying to head the same route. Then the other important issue we have to be is that if at all the Attorney General says he has powers to ban a pressure group, what makes us certain that he has no powers to wake up tomorrow and ban maybe a certain religion or tribe? Because remember, a tribal region in some way is a pressure group.
Right. Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good evening, Edmond.
Good evening, your name?
This is Edmond Samuel.
Yes, Samuel.
I would like to thank that commissioner for his eloquent approach. I want to find the Dr. Besigye. Hello? I want to find Dr. Besigye that he left by 1998 he had left cabinet, but he was still serving officer in the army. And the army is an institution of government. He left the army in 2000. So he was still in the army in the government up to 2000. Let him not deceive the country. Thank you.
Spectrum, hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
How are you, sir?
Very well, your name?
Hello?
Your name, sir?
My name is Dr. Omona.
Yes, Dr. Omona.
I want to thank you for hosting Dr. Besigye. And hello?
Dr. Omona, we can hear you. Please go on.
Now, first of all, I want to disagree with the Colonel Besigye that A4C has no membership. Because any group that is able to address the press conference and has a direction of action, surely is an organized group. So by saying that there is A4C has no membership, I think it's a typical lie. And then also,
I've lost you, Doctor.
Hello, Edmond, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
Yeah, thanks for hosting my president.
Yes, Jimmy.
Mukasa Jimmy is the name.
Yes.
I just want to reaffirm my president, Kiiza doctor, retired, that the course is on. I know that there are challenges, and it only takes a brave man to stand up for even other weaker voices. Now, let's get back to the issues. What?
Question, we missed it. Jimmy, you can call back. Jimmy, because you got cut off there. Not from our side. Spectrum, hello? Yes?
How are you, sir?
Very well, thanks. Your name?
This is Movakoji.
Come again?
Movakoji, sir.
Go on.
I would like to thank Dr. Kiiza Besigye with their acts. The problem is the government of Uganda is not good listener to the people. So they have to first to pressurize the government so that we can at least get something from it. Because if there was no A4C is acts for change, but their acts brings people to get something which is services the people. So if government is not pressurized at all, we cannot even receive anything, my friend. So, Doctor, I thank you so very, very much.
Spectrum, hello? Okay, let's get back to the studio. Dr. Besigye. Okay, all right, let's get back to the studio. Dr. Besigye.
Yes, thank you, and I would like to thank all those who have asked. I think the question Dickens asked the first caller is one that, unfortunately, is a result of the colonial mentality that this law is steeped in. You know, people who have not appreciated that a government is a servant and its master are the people. That the president is our servant. We pay him a salary. He should work according to our will, not we working according to his will. Now, he says that we are inciting people. All we are saying, and if it is inciting, I plead guilty, is that people should take back their power from the rule of the gun, where they are cowed, and if you talk, they hound you and they say you keep quiet, and they write all these, prescribe you as if you are not the master. We are saying people should take back their power and use it to demand that things are run better. You know, why else would there be so open and rampant robbery in a government? You know, When, you know, these people are talking about the reason people are excited about A4C is not because they like Besigye or they like Mpuga or they like anybody. No. They are protesting for their own reasons. They are marginalized in their own country. Millions of people are living in this town who sleep without any food. While they read every day billions that are stolen in the government, that are misused, that the president has bought himself a new aeroplane, that he's doing this, you know, that is where, all we are telling people is stand up and tell, whether it is the president, whether it is whoever, that no, enough is enough. And I would like that to happen even if I was president, that citizens should be empowered to call a president to order, and if he is not willing to listen, to remove him. But here you are, you know, you go into elections, they raid the Bank of Uganda, remove billions and billions of shillings without even authority of parliament, to go and bribe voters, take the police and army to beat up people. Well, that it's an election. It's time that the people of Uganda stand up and reclaim their country. And that is what we are telling the people. And to do so this time without using guns. Mr. Museveni used the guns to come to power. You know, in fact, now I laugh when I hear.
Doctor, if you
yes, and I heard the gun too. But I laugh these days when they are saying, you know, these A4C, they actually have a hidden agenda. They want to take over power of the government using guns. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. If he took over power, there was an elected government here over Obote. We were in the bush committing treason. We were lucky, we won.
They never caught you.
Yes, we were lucky, we won and came into government. But the reason for us we have taken a deliberate decision not to fight using guns is because it is those guns that took over in 1986 that are now repressing the Ugandans again and robbing them. And we are saying this time we don't want guns to take over government. We want the people themselves to rise and reclaim their power and subject guns to their power. So that for the first time, and this is going to be the first time, and it's going to happen, that you will have Ugandans peacefully, without using weapons, taking over charge of their country.
Would that be a peaceful transition, though?
Yes, of course. Peaceful, of course, the people who have guns will shoot quite a number of us, maybe in the process, as has happened indeed in other countries. How peaceful it becomes depends now on the regime itself. But let me therefore say that Dickens, yes, we are not inciting the public, we are empowering the public, and I would like to, if I was to be a president of an empowered society. Worry that the country is progressing economically. Yes, the country is progressing economically for a handful of people. And if the majority of the people were happy with the development of the economy, I would be relevant. So would my friend here, Munyagwa. You know, if people are saying, don't disturb us. You remember when we started Walk to Work, the traders, I think all the questions were actually directed at me. Okay. The traders were saying, we are coming to town to spoil their business. When they closed their own businesses, we were not there. You know, they had realized that what we were saying was actually true. Now, Tumwine, Marx was talking about, I think he was complimentary. He was saying banning this is like banning, like the
Jesus Christ,
like they banned Christianity during that time, you know, and it's true. By the way, it's a contradiction that you are banning A4C. Mr. Bireje here, who carries out investigations for the Attorney General, has never seen it right to ban Chiwetere's organization, which killed more than 1,000 people in broad day.
One night.
Chiwetere's organization is still a legal organization. It is not banned. And so have been the others, even using guns. The rebel groups have never been banned, except maybe Konyi was declared a terrorist organization. But the ones who have been there in eastern Uganda, where they have never been banned. So, banning, the important thing I've told you, can never end a political problem. All the organizations that were in fact banned, including the colonial banning, which the governor in the council did, are the ones that eventually took over power. Now, the one who was saying that I left government only in 2000, I think he misunderstood what it means to be in government. What Mr. Bireje, I think, meant was that I had been in government making the laws as a Minister of Internal Affairs,
yes.
which I wasn't. I was a humble servant in the army, and I was not responsible for any kind of policies that were made by government then.
Okay.
Now, the A4C membership.
Very briefly, because I have to go. A4C membership, very briefly.
What? A4C membership. A4C, you see a membership.
T-shirts, press conferences.
And yes, but that does not make you any member of anything.
So now they have to hide them.
You know, if you put on a Manchester T-shirt, Manchester United, are you a member of Manchester?
You see,
it does not make any.
Let me react to, I think, one caller.
Yes.
But before that,
very briefly,
I want to tell the Colonel that there are constitutional means of bringing the president to order. Yes. He knows that.
But this is one of them. That's why we are. Constitutional.
Unconstitutional methods.
Protest is constitutional. Is protest allowed?
By beating police.
No.
By throwing stones.
No.
By disrupting.
Has anybody been convicted?
By disrupting.
If you are a lawyer,
if you are a lawyer,
speak as a lawyer. Don't speak as a lawyer.
We have to go.
Has anybody been convicted?
Just hold on.
A4C has been there for a year. Has anybody been convicted?
Hold on. You are being prosecuted.
How many cases was I prosecuted? I didn't even have answer.
The second thing I want to talk about is where a caller said that a minister or the attorney general banning a pressure group.
Yes.
He can even ban other religious groups.
Or even a tribe.
The attorney general is not a person who can just simply take decisions.
We should take your word on that. He won't ban a religion tomorrow.
The attorney general has first to study.
But he has the organization.
He has
to study the organization.
Thank you very much.
Just simply take such a decision.
Thank you very much, Retired Colonel. We'll take your word tonight. Retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza, Besigye, President of the FDC Party. Thank you very much for coming to Spectrum tonight.
Thank you very much, and good evening and happy Easter weekend to all of you out there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denis Bireje, Commissioner for Civil Litigation in the Attorney General's chambers. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond. So Spectrum will be back tomorrow on Good Friday. Up next is the news in English.
Hi, Dad. I'm still in New York. My flight back is delayed.
Oh no, but Kwanjula is tomorrow. Now what about the Nkoko? Namatoke for the Baku.
Don't worry.